Is this your year? What if you could use what you already have to build $1 million business that works for you? This isn't a business based on some theory or a one-off success. It's based on nearly a decade of experience, and it will allow you to break away from trading all of your time for money and achieve freedom of choice with a business that complements your life, not one that complicates it. And I'll be sharing lots of real-world examples of people who have done exactly what you're looking to do, like Denver, who turned 96 YouTube subscribers into $100,000 in 30 days, or Nikki, who generated $103,000 in 21 days using just one email. And the first step for both of them was to identify and understand their exact ideal clients on a deep emotional and psychological level. That's why my team and I have created a free tool that will help you do the same in a matter of minutes. It's called the Ideal Client Decoder. To access it for free, comment decoder below and we will send you the link. So we're gonna dig into how to actually attract clients and sell coming from hands-on experience of generating $30 million in our business. It's the easiest business to start, but you still need to be ready to focus and put in the work. No quick fixes or get rich quick situations here. We're playing the long game. So let's take this seriously. You're gonna wanna take notes and we're gonna get into every little detail. First and foremost though, we all have different reasons for wanting ease in our life and business. And my core reason started on August 27th, 2017, when I hit complete and utter burnout, running a successful business that drained my time, energy, and soul. The irony is, this is what my calendar looked like at that point, working myself into the ground for a fraction of the revenue we generate today. This is my calendar today, running a $5 million a year business. I'm also a new mom to a baby girl, and my only metric to success is peace. And that means 4-day work weeks, a spacious calendar, working with people I love behind the scenes and our amazing clients, and most importantly, doing meaningful work that lights me up every single day. Peace, purpose, and profit. That's what it's all about. So let's head to the whiteboard and dig into the details. So what makes this the absolute easiest business model is that you are monetizing what you already have. So that means no product, inventory, no shipping, and no storefront. It's all digital. So we have clients running 7-figure businesses at over a 95% profit margin because of this model and the low cost required, which brings me to point number 2, low upfront costs. So you can literally start from zero with nothing more than your phone, computer, and the expertise or skill set that you already have. And number 3, you create the content once and it becomes this repeatable asset that you can use over and over and over again and that pays you over and over and again. And the proof is in the data. By 2032, this is going to be a $1 trillion industry. It's projected to be a $1 trillion industry in such a short period of time. So that means that you only need a tiny little fraction of that, tiny little piece of the pie to build a 6 or 7-figure business. So what is it? Well, it's an online education business where you package your skill set or your knowledge into a course or program that others can then learn from it. And a quick reminder, to build the strongest foundation for this kind of business, make sure to comment decoder below to access our Ideal Client Decoder tool, which will deliver to you exactly who your ideal client is, what they need most from you, and how you can reach them in a matter of minutes. There are many ways to share your knowledge online, but they still fall under what I call old school business models that aren't really easy to grow or scale or even manage. So I want to talk about some of these traditional ways that people have shared their expertise, things like one-on-one, consulting and memberships, and self-paced curriculum. So these are a few of the options that are out there and available. So I want to talk about the benefits of each of them as well as some of the problems. So let's break those down first. So first there's one-to-one consulting. Well, this approach allows you to provide personalized value to clients. It also brings you right back to what we call the time trap because you are trading hours for dollars. There is a literal ceiling on your time because there's only 24 hours in the day. And there's a ceiling on your income and ultimately your impact as well. So with this system, you're never really able to grow effectively. Another option is to create an online membership site. So this can provide, recurring revenue month over month with a community of members paying each month. However, it can be super complex to set up and to manage. Plus, retention is always a struggle, meaning keeping people actually engaged and continuing to pay. That always is the biggest problem. So keeping their subscriber status requires this constant content creation and effort. And while a good idea on paper, in practice, it can be an overwhelming way to share your expertise that delivers underwhelming results. And finally, you can share via a self-paced curriculum. And here you package your knowledge into a course and let people study and implement it at their own pace. And while this approach has the benefit of being kind of hands-off, there are limitations. First, there's a cap on what you can charge without offering higher levels of support or accountability. Second, and this is a big one, completion rates for self-paced online courses are incredibly low. In fact, studies show that only about 15% of learners complete self-paced online courses, and in some cases, the rate's even lower than that, at just 3 to 5%. So without accountability, many participants lose motivation and fall off track. So while each of these methods totally can work, they all have significant drawbacks. So the key is to find a way that addresses these limitations. And this is what I call the new way to do business. And that's what we're gonna dig into. There's only one model that truly gets your knowledge out in the right way. And we like to call it coaching at scale, or CAS. So really what this is it's modern day consulting. And this is the new way of sharing and scaling your knowledge. And this is the formula that will allow you to escape the time trap and to create a business and life that is successful on your own terms. So with coaching at scale, you get the best of all of the worlds that we really just talked about, and we also get to remove a lot of those limitations. So you start with an online-based, self-paced curriculum. So I'm gonna put that down here. So we have curriculum, first and foremost. So yes, there is a self-paced curriculum that people can follow at their own pace, but you don't stop there. For a curriculum to truly work, it needs to be complemented by accountability and support. So this is where we blend together the 3 C's. So we have curriculum, then next comes coaching and community. And that's why we call this coaching at scale. And really, this could also be considered consulting. So, why is it so important to have these kind of combined together? Because then you have a curriculum that provides your clients a step-by-step process that gives them a 0 to hero transformation. I'll explain more of what I mean by that in a second. And then you have group coaching or consulting that allows you to mentor your clients in a really meaningful but efficient way. And then also a community that answers all of the questions and helps people over the inevitable speed bumps and gives them an incredible sense of community and accountability by being able to see what everybody else is up to in their peer group inside of that community. So the 3 C's create this accelerated learning environment where people can learn and implement fast while giving you much more time freedom. So take Jeffrey. Before he joined our community, Jeffrey had been working on his course for 2 years without making any sales. He had no audience. You may relate to that. He tried writing a blog, creating a book, and dabbled even in Facebook ads, but nothing seemed to gain traction. So his passion was helping men in long-term relationships and marriages on the verge of collapse. But without an audience or a clear strategy or any kind of authoritative reputation in the field, he wasn't really sure how to make this vision a true reality. So then Jeffrey started working with us and started following the process. And within 18 months, his hard work had paid off. So Jeffrey went from having no business at all to generating over $1.2 million in revenue. And that was without running a single ad. This was all organically. And he's still continuing to generate very consistent income, 6-figure months, every single month. But more importantly than that, he's been able to transform the lives of countless men, helping them repair their marriages and become the best versions of themselves. So that's really the power of having the right strategy for elevated income and also impact that can grow beyond the limitations of the hours in the day. So we're gonna dig into how you actually create this kind of a business in a second, but I need to address this first because if you're currently feeling frustrated or stuck in your business or job, it's because you're probably caught in one or both of these traps. So first is the time trap. And that means you're, like we said, trading hours for dollars. And no matter how hard you work, you can only make so much because you're limited by time. And this leads to burnout, frustration, and this constant hustle that never ends. It's like you're on a never-ending hamster wheel or a never-ending treadmill, and you're just not moving anywhere. So then the second trap is what we call the success trap. So maybe you followed the traditional path. You went to school, you got a good job, you climbed the corporate ladder, but despite the success on the outside, you feel drained and unfulfilled. Why? Because real success doesn't come from status or money. It comes from aligning with your purpose and actually making an impact. There are a lot of rich, miserable people in the world. So we got to start with purpose and impact first. So remember Nikki, who I mentioned earlier? She was actually a burnt out attorney who was stuck in this exact trap. But she had honed a skill set around animal communication of all things. And she tried to break free from the trap by creating a membership program like I talked about earlier, but quickly realized it was the wrong business model to scale her skill set.
I had to keep reinventing the wheel to keep people wanting to pay every month and to stay.
So I'm going to share the process, like I said, of how you actually build this kind of business shortly here. But I also wanted to mention a few highlights of what we've gone over thus far. So I want to compare the old way of doing business versus the new way. So in the old way, you're trading time for money. Your income is capped by the amount of hours that you can work, and you can only work so many. You are constantly in this hustle cycle on the hamster wheel, and you end up burnt out, invisible, and stuck. But in the new way, which is an online education business centered around coaching at scale, you charge based on the value of the outcome you are providing, not on the amount of hours you are putting in. Your income is truly scalable. It can grow without your amount of hours being put into it. And your time. You can create a repeatable system that actually works for you and is an asset that works for you when you're not working. And you gain freedom and authority on autopilot when you build this in the right way, which, like I said, we're going to get into in just a second. This model really does give you more time and financial independence while allowing you to build authority in your space and really become the go-to. So that brings us to the $1 million solution, which we've been digging into in this online education business. And it really is you, your knowledge package, and that creates a scalable business model in this really rapidly changing world. You know, the opportunities of entrepreneurship have become a lot more available to a lot more folks to create their own, financial independence and impact that they can have on people. The barriers are not as high as they used to be, and there aren't as many. So as I talked about earlier, there are a lot of reasons why this is such an easy business to start. It still takes work and focus, but it's an easier business model to start. And the demand, like I said, is just growing and growing and growing. It's really skyrocketing. This market has grown by over 900% in the last 2 decades, and it's projected to just keep growing. Even that tiny piece, like I said, can lead to a big business. So when people say it's too late to start this kind of a business, it really couldn't be further from the truth. I'm living in it every single day and watching people succeed every single day. So a saturated market comes from stagnation, and online learning is growing. It is not standing still. It is expanding, and people are overwhelmed. People are overwhelmed by information, and they are starved for transformation. So more people are turning to things like online courses and programs for specific skills that can help them improve their lives, their careers, and their businesses. They want real solutions from someone who actually knows what they're talking about, like you. So they don't want just theory. And you don't need a big audience. Like I said about Jeffrey, you don't need a big audience to start. You just need to be specific about the problem you can solve and who you can solve it for. So create once, you have your packaged knowledge, and then scale forever. And by focusing on teaching what you know, you're creating a scalable asset because you are packaging a transformation for your ideal client. So let me dig into what that looks like. So we have what we call the 0 to hero journey. And this is at the base of creating any successful online education business. It's really the key to standing the test of time, and it's how our program has been able to continue to get our clients incredible results 6 years in. And it's really about the method, and it's not about me. So you're focusing on a method. You're not focusing on, me as an individual person. I'm focusing on the strategy that I've been able to duplicate and teach to thousands of people all over the world. So let me give you another real world example of what this means and what it can look like for you and how you can really focus on the method instead of focusing on you as an individual person or brand. So Allison is a nurse and she became an online education business owner. So she helps working moms breastfeed their babies through the first year. And in a full circle moment, she built her program using our methodology, and I ended up investing and enrolling into her program when I had my daughter. So she focuses on successful working moms who are going back to work but don't want to give up on breastfeeding their babies, making their starting point very clear. So their zero state is incredibly clear. So it is working moms returning to work, but they still want to continue to breastfeed. So we know exactly where they're starting. She's not helping women who are pregnant because they would be back here in the journey. She's not helping women who are thinking about getting pregnant because they would be back here in the journey. So we want to create this path from zero to hero and make it as efficient as possible. So we know exactly where the pain point is of where these women would need to start. So like I said, you have to think about this. You're not helping everybody. You have to figure out specifically who you're helping, and most importantly, where are they at on their journey when they're at that right tipping point to actually do the work and get results. So her clients, like me, achieve the outcome of being 100% in control and empowered in their breastfeeding journey. I'll put this here. Journey. So we know that is the outcome. That is the hero outcome that they want to achieve. It's not that they're dabbling in this and they kind of want to breastfeed, but they know this is a high priority for them and this is the outcome that they're after. So having clarity on this zero to hero journey is vital. And why is it so vital? Because if we don't know the starting point and ending point of your ideal client, you're going to make a course that is stuffed with what people do not need more of, which is just information. People just want a very clear path to achieving their transformation. Otherwise, if we're trying to serve everybody with this, we're going to take people all over the place. It's going to take them forever to get results. And guess what happens when that happens? Nobody does the work, nobody gets results, and your business will not last. So let me show you how powerful this actually is, identifying that zero to hero state. So Allison recently shared that she has surpassed $500,000 in revenue, and she's working 20 to 25 hours a week as a busy mama and the main income earner in her family as her husband does his master's. So pretty incredible, right? But she knows specifically who she is here to serve. And like I said, she is not trying to serve everybody. So now you understand why knowing your zero and your hero state is absolutely a non-negotiable before you can actually build a curriculum that works for your ideal clients. So luckily, we can help you do that. And I'm gonna start by asking a few questions to get you there. But I need you to understand that if we don't have a clear starting point and a clear ending point, the curriculum and the program just aren't going to work because like I said, nobody needs more information. They need the most efficient path to transformation. So in order to identify that zero to hero journey, we have to start with the non-negotiable. Identify, what do you know? What are you good at? What could you teach? So how do we really dig into this? I want you to think about what you're really good at and how you can help others. And this becomes really the foundation, like I said, of a successful course. If we don't do this work first, nothing's going to work. So I want you to think through a couple of these really simple questions and start mulling over, what is the key theme here that you maybe could teach to somebody else? So first and foremost, what do people come to you for advice on regularly? Or what could you teach without any preparation? If somebody said, go teach right now, what could you teach without any preparation? I guarantee you have something. The next thing could be, what's a unique skill or experience that you might have that other people would be interested in or want to learn from? And then the final piece is, what have you actually helped others do or achieve thus far? Is there anything that you've been a mentor for, or a coach for, etc.? Those are all pointing to the foundation of your business. So your answers to these questions will reveal your specific knowledge, the thing that can actually be scalable, the very thing that can become your first $1 million business. And I say that with experience of helping people build $1 million businesses around these exact answers. And that brings us into, once we understand these pieces and we start to really dig into those answers, that brings us to the second step of really being able to scale this business and grow this business. So the next step is research and developing your audience. So interviewing and listening to your ideal clients to find out what problems they have and how your expertise can actually solve those problems better than anybody else. And the biggest key here is that you need to solve a problem for them that has pain and urgency, which again, I'm going to harp on this a lot, but if we don't identify pain and urgency, then we don't really have a clear starting point for the curriculum and a clear ending point, because we have to identify, like I said earlier, that zero to hero transformation, because this is going to be the curriculum that solves the problem and achieves the outcome that these people are looking from what you can teach, what you can help people with, and what advice you can ultimately give to them. And like I mentioned, we've honed the method to figure this out for close to a decade now, and we've recently built a free tool to help you identify and understand your exact ideal client and how you can serve them and what kind of messaging will resonate with them in a matter of minutes. So to access that, all you need to do is comment decoder below, and we will send you the link to the ideal client decoder for free to go and use it for yourself. So you can actually decipher all of this in a matter of minutes. I know you're starting to think about it, and that's really important to answer the questions, but this will help you do it in a matter of minutes. So from there, ultimately we need to go ahead and design your course outline. So this comes in now because we have a very clearly defined zero and hero state. So let me kind of draw this out for you so you can understand what it needs to look like. So knowing that zero state and that hero state, ultimately, this allows you to create the most effective and efficient curriculum outline that is going to bridge the gap between those two places. So that creates what we call the ideal client journey. So you want to break down your knowledge into clear, easy to follow lessons that then guide students from their problem, their zero state, to the solution. So you don't need to build the curriculum right now. That's really important to understand. That's not what we're asking you to do. All you need to do is figure out the steps that your ideal client has to take, and those become the lesson topics of your online program. So this allows you to design a curriculum in the most effective way, and we really are starting from the hero state. So in order to do this in a way that's going to create a powerful transformation, you want to start with the end in mind, and then you want to work backwards and bridge the gap between how did we get here and what did it take for us to get here from this zero state. So this can be based on your own experience, or if you've helped others achieve the same outcome, think about the steps that it took to achieve that outcome, and then that becomes your curriculum outline. Now, why is it an outline? Well, this is very important because the next part of this is getting into something we call the POP. So the POP is the prototype version of your program. It is not fancy, it is not perfectly built. It's basically a beta test to get into the real world to make sure that your program and your curriculum actually lands for people. When people don't do this, oftentimes they spend so much time, waste so much time building a program that nobody really wants. And worse, people actually invest into it and then it doesn't work for them, or they don't understand the pieces, or the pieces are in the wrong order, and then people are upset and they give you terrible reviews, and then you cannot scale from there. So the POP is a crucial part of this process. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty of the POP, I did just want to mention the next real step here is we need to go ahead and we need to price your program. So I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I need to help you understand why it's so important not to base the price of your program on time, but value. So when you're determining a price point for your program, you want to decide how much it's worth based on, like I said, the value and the actual transformation that you're providing to your students. What is that worth to them mentally, financially, emotionally, spiritually? What is it gaining for them, and what does it cost them to not have that outcome? It's probably a high cost. So the price is determined by the value of the outcome, not on how much time you put into it. So you can get out of that trading time for money loop and really, be valued for the knowledge that you bring to the table. So from there, once we understand, okay, design the course outline, and then step 4, we're going to do your pricing before we go ahead and sell. That brings us to the next step, which is pre-selling or validating your program before you actually create it. So pre-selling is a pretty simple concept, but a lot of people find this really challenging to understand. It means you're going to sell your program without actually having built it. But what we do know at this point is we understand the zero to hero transformation. So we actually do know what we're selling because we know we're selling the value of the outcome here. We're selling ultimately the hero state, which is what people are investing into. People pay for transformation. They do not pay for information. So all this means is that you're actually generating paying clients before you go ahead and build your program, which is the process all of our clients implement. And it's absolutely crucial to growth because it's the best way to get better at teaching. The only way to get good at teaching is to actually teach. And getting client results is the best way for you to really validate and prove to yourself that this is working. Plus, you're gonna get real feedback, both critical and positive, to know how you can make it even better, tweak it, optimize the curriculum before you go to the trouble of recording the entire thing. And it also, most importantly, it's allowing you to build that confidence before you prepackage anything and go to the time and effort of doing so. In addition, it's bringing in cash flow to the business to grow from a place of peace and security. And as mentioned, we've had clients generate anywhere from 10 to 100 to all the way up to 200K from this pre-sale process before even creating their program. So the next piece is number 6, which is simply just running your pops. So this is actually having paying clients in your program, running your profitable offer prototype for the first time, listening to that real world feedback. And then the next step from there is we're going to iterate and package. So this is the really exciting part. Now that we've done a test run, we can then grow your business from there in a way that does not require your time to keep it running. So this means that in this step, we're gonna take everything that we've learned from all of the previous steps, and we're going to go ahead and record your videos, write your guides, create your worksheets, keep it simple and keep it focused on delivering the value, but everything is now going to be pre-recorded and actually packaged into an evergreen asset, like I've been talking about in this video, that you can just sell on repeat, and that works without needing or requiring your constant time, attention, or effort. So finally, what that brings us to is marketing and selling your course in perpetuity. So this is really the fun part. So from here, it's all about just getting clients in the door that you can really serve at the highest level, because you now have this prepackaged program, so you could sell it to as many people as you want. That becomes your evergreen business. So you've built this evergreen asset, which is your packaged curriculum, and your only job is to continue marketing it and selling it. And this is where you create an evergreen marketing machine to generate leads and sales while you're not working. And so my platform of choice is, surprise, surprise, YouTube, where we are right now. So you want to automate the repetitive tasks like marketing using a platform like YouTube, because it is the second largest search engine in the world. And what are people searching for on here? Answers to questions, solutions to problems, and ultimately they're looking to create real transformation for themselves, and they're looking for somebody who they can actually trust to help them get there. So all you have to do is show up with the right kind of content for them. So to create an automated marketing funnel, you can reach more people, and you can do this without using more of your time, because each individual video is actually working for you when you are not working. So from there, we go from YouTube video plus email list. That is the killer combination to allow you to truly stop trading time for money, because we're getting people from your YouTube videos that are hyper relevant to what you're ultimately selling inside your program. You're getting them to join your email list and nurturing them through really authoritative, interesting, engaging, relevant content that positions you as a thought leader, which ultimately will turn them into buyers for your program. And all of this is happening without your constant time and attention. It's all running in the background. But ultimately what this really, depicts for you and shows you is that once you build that evergreen asset, which is your program, then your only job is to generate leads. Because if you don't have leads, you don't have sales for your business. If you don't have sales for your business, you don't have clients that you can impact. If you don't have clients you can impact, you don't have results, and the business is not going to stand the test of time. Get it? Got it? Good. Okay, moving on to selling the course. So you might be wondering, okay, well, if I want to sell my program, why would I be making free YouTube content? So ultimately, free and paid content, there's a big difference there. Free content is information. It's great, it's helpful, it positions you as an authority, but paid content, your online program, ultimately is delivering that 0 to hero transformation. It's actually transforming people's lives, businesses, relationships, whatever it may be. People are overwhelmed, like I said, and sick of sifting through way too much free content. They want efficiency and results, and that is what you need to deliver with your program. But YouTube and your email list are a great way to generate leads that are gonna be, valuing what you're saying and trusting you as an authority to then be in a better position to go, I actually want to work with that person. So it creates this sort of evergreen lead machine that's working for you. So, but if we take this a step further, there's actually levels to it. So if we have a funnel here, I want you to realize that there are cold, warm, and hot leads. And you need to understand how to differentiate each of these if you're really going to be able to market effectively and ultimately sell your program effectively. So the cold leads up here, that's your broader audience. It's the biggest audience that you have, but ultimately it's people who are maybe not at a place where they're actually ready to find a solution. They're just window shoppers. They're looking for solutions. You can attract them with educational content, blog posts, social media tips, YouTube videos that answer their questions. But warm leads, these people are starting to take it a little bit seriously. So they're starting to really dip their toe in the pool. They're really interested. They might be feeling a little pain and urgency. They know they have a problem and they're considering options. So for them, you want to do more in-depth content and things that are a little more applicable to somebody who's a little closer to the exact pain point of your ideal client. So free trainings, email series, things like that. And then that brings us to hot leads. So these are the people who are most ready to take action. So Here you want to offer a very clear call to action, and your call to action should be the most direct path for them to get your help. You want to reduce friction in the journey from them being a stranger who just discovered you and a buyer who's actually going to invest in your program, do the work, and get results. So the secret is to really guide people through these stages and providing value at each step. So cold, it could be something like a freebie, like a PDF or a checklist. Warm could be things like a webinar, and then hot could be a direct call to action to buy. So if you're really looking at this as a whole, I want to break down the kind of marketing structure and funnel per se that you would use to get people from a stranger on the internet who finds your content, finds you valuable, and then actually wants to work with you. So what the funnel really breaks down to is quite simple. So we start with, ideally, you have discoverable content. Once you've built your program, so let's make the program a packaged little knowledge box up here. And once you have this, then all we're really focused on is generating traffic and leads, like I said. So discoverable content, something like YouTube, where once you make a video once, it actually can work for you for the rest of time because people are looking for that video, searching for that video all day, every day from around the world. So it brings in an never-ending stream of leads. From this video, you need to have a clear call to action. So that can be to either book a call with you, go directly to purchase the program, or go to an email list. So from here, if they book a call, the function here is sale, no sale. Either of those two options. So if they go ahead and they book a discovery call with your strategy session, they're either going to end up becoming a buyer or they're not going to buy. But if they go to a CTA to be on your email list, let's say you give them a freebie and opt-in, or they become part of a webinar, then they're going to be nurtured through your email list, or they're going to go right from email list to wanting to become a customer or a client of your program. If they choose to get nurtured through the email list and you're sending an automated sequence of emails to follow up with them and position yourself as the authority, then from there, you would ultimately offer them another opportunity to be a part of the program. So this is how it works. It's at every single point, they're either being nurtured with value or they're being given an offer to be a part of your program. And either way, they're getting an incredible amount of value from you. They're getting a ton of trust. They're building a ton of trust with you because you're giving them content that is actually helping them. And it's positioning you when you're not working, because this is all automated, as an authority for them, as somebody that they can trust. And whether they're ready to buy right now or they're ready to buy 3 years from now, you are going to be the person that they want to go to. And really, that's what it comes down to. If we're not obsessed with the clients and their feedback, then we're really not gonna be able to stand the test of time. So step number 9 is feedback focused. So we are really going to focus on getting social proof from the people who have actually taken your program. What are they saying? What are they ultimately thinking? And you do want to know, you want to use that feedback to continuously improve your program and gather testimonials to attract more clients, because social proof is the best marketing strategy that you could ever have. Client results are the best marketing strategy you can ever have. If your program actually works, you don't need to market as hard. You don't have to do as much, because results speak for themselves, and people who get results, they end up telling more and more people about your program. So what this does is it ultimately creates this flywheel that allows the business to run on its own. So once you put this effort in the beginning, you've done your pop, you've proven the offer, then you have this incredible flywheel that works for you. So you have your program here, your transformational program. From there, you need to enroll people into the program. So that would be your sales. From there, once they're in the program, transformation occurs once they do the work and they go through the curriculum. And from there, if people are getting results, they become happy clients. And guess what those happy clients are gonna do? They're gonna get more people to enroll into your program. That's how we really get this to start to work on autopilot. So to make this even easier, let's just kind of simplify it down to the core aspects. So number 1, obviously we have to have something to teach. So what is your knowledge? What do you know? What can you share with other people? And the more specific you are on that, the easier it is to build authority. The broader you go, the less likely you are to really break through. And then step number 2 is you really have to identify and listen to your most ideal clients, to what they really need, so that you can make the most effective version of your program, which ultimately you're going to package into that evergreen asset, that course that delivers real transformation to that ideal client. And then finally, final step, you're gonna scale your business. So you're gonna automate and build a system that can run for you on autopilot. So I talked about peace being the definition of success for me at the beginning of this video, and it's really what this business model has allowed my clients and I to achieve. And it doesn't mean that it's always easy and roses all the time, but it is easier than most businesses. But ultimately, yes, it's still a business, and it still takes work, it still takes focus, it still takes strategy, but the process ultimately is quite simple. And it's what I laid out for you here today. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, but this is the overall process. And it provides you with this incredible amount of freedom. And truthfully, the longer you commit to it, I've been doing this a long time, the better it gets. The more impact you have, and the more you can ultimately then buy back your time, reinvest in the business, reinvest in your team, reinvest in whatever it is that's going to ultimately bring you more and more peace. This business becomes that vehicle to freedom of choice and to peace. So let's talk about the long-term benefit of a business like this. So building an online education business doesn't just create an income. Yes, of course, that's a lovely part of it, but it builds ultimately a legacy. And so beyond the financial benefits, I've been able to witness what this can do for people's lives and the people that they are then able to impact. And it really allows you to have a global impact by sharing your expertise, your knowledge, your skill set with people all over the world, people who wouldn't be able to work with you if you were limited by the old business models. That allows you to create this legacy that lasts beyond your lifetime. How amazing is that? So the easiest $1 million business is one built on authority, scalability, and alignment. Remember we talked about that earlier, with what you know and want to share with the world. So in the new way of doing things, success isn't about what you own. It's about the impact that you make, the freedom you create, and living in alignment and with your true purpose ultimately. And if you have knowledge and a skill set to share, then that's really where that purpose is going to come from. So instead of burnout and stress and chasing external validation and money and status and being disconnected from your purpose and from all the things, the new way of doing things ultimately creates internal alignment, peace and freedom, impact and purpose, and allows you to build a true legacy. So ultimately you're going to build something that, like I said, can outlast you. And I don't think that there's anything more powerful than that. Think of all the lives that you could touch and then the ripple effect of that from there, which is really amazing. So with the exponential growth that this industry is seeing, the low startup costs and the limitless opportunities, this really is the best time to start. It is not a stagnating industry. It is not standing still. It is growing, and you can be a part of it. So if you're ready to scale your income, create more freedom, and make a global impact with what you already know, the first step is truly, I can't harp on this enough, understanding your ideal client on a deep level, how you can serve them, and what kind of content will resonate most with them to attract them. So that's why we created the Ideal Client Decoder, so that in a matter of minutes, you'll have those answers at your fingertips. So you don't have to sit there and ruminate on it for too long. So to access it for free, comment decoder below and we'll send you the link to go ahead and use it for yourself. So if you want to see how I've scaled my own business to $5 million a year, then you can go ahead and watch this video next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.